This stop is Marion.
This is the brand new CAF Urbos 100, now on service on the L1 Dulwich Hill Line, and today I'm taking the first ride in it from Lilyfield to Central and back to Arlington. I'll be taking a look at some new features of the tram, compare the differences to the other older ones, and more. So sit back, relax and enjoy the video, and thank you all for watching. It's currently Friday, and I was lucky enough to be able to spot a brand new Urbos 100 straight away as I arrived at Lilyfield station, waiting for one to come out. This tram was literally coming out about a minute after I arrived, so I just waited on the platform and filmed its approach. It will be approaching here at Lilyfield, followed by it then going into service, travelling to Central, and then moving up a little bit at Central, and then coming back down to Dulwich Hill before returning empty to the depot. I've rode this tram from Lilyfield to Central, then from Central down to Arlington. I will be showing all the new features as mentioned, and I will just show you the general ride, show you how the drivers are being trained, and compare the older trams. Today we have tram set number 2127, and it's now time to board the tram. Think we get on? Yep. With the new tram smell at new highs and the air conditioning at new lows, it's now time to take a ride on the new tram.
This stop is Lilyfield. The next stop is Roselle Bay, followed by Jubilee Park, Glebe, then all stops to Central Grand Concourse.
My first impressions were just travelling one stop. I can already say the announcements are very detailed, and I really like how Taylor Owynns is back at the announcements on the L1 Dulwich Hill Line. It's now time to take a look at the doors and how they operate.
Is Roselle Bay.
Now, I'm not sure about the rest of you all, but this is the first thing that came to mind. Tell me they aren't the same. It's now time to take a little look at how the announcements sound.
The next stop is Jubilee Park, followed by Glebe, Wentworth Park, then all stops to Central Grand Concourse. This stop is Glebe. The next stop is Wentworth Park, followed by Fish Market, John Street Square, then all stops to Central Grand Concourse. This stop is Wentworth Park. This stop is Wentworth Park.
As you can see here, the route diagrams have again changed. It now only shows the L1 Dulwich Hill Line instead of it showing all three light rail lines. As the Dulwich Hill Line is something I've known for over a decade, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to name all the station names. Okay, here we go. Central Grand Concourse, Capitol Square, Paddy's Markets, Exhibition Centre, Convention, Pyrmont, The Star, John Street Square, Fish Market, Wentworth Park, Glebe, Jubilee Park, Roselle Bay, Lilyfield, Leichhardt North, Hawthorne, Marion, Taverners Hill, Lewisham West, Waratah Mills, Arlington, Dulwich Grove, and Dulwich Hill. Whew. Please extend the line.
Is John Street Square, followed by the Star, Pyrmont Bay, then all stops to Central Grand Concourse. This stop is John Street Square. Is the Star, followed by Pyrmont Bay, Convention, then all stops to Central Grand Concourse.
After a bit of a journey on this Obos 100, it is now time to compare these trams to the older ones that used to operate on this line. Starting off with the Obos 3, and quite recently known as the trams that had the cracks in them, but they weren't always known as the bad trams that had cracks in them. After all, they were pretty good trams before cracks came. So this is what are different between the Obos 100 and Obos 3. The only really major differences compared from the Obos 3 to the Obos 100 is probably that the old passenger information display screens were dot matrix and they are now the LED LCD screen panel thingies. And that the seat maquette was slightly different, although it's pretty much the same, and then also the floor is a different colour. But apart from that, of course, since it was built by the same company, the trams are very similar to each other, but this is until we get to the older trams where you can see the differences. Now going on to what is probably the most forgotten tram to ever exist, the CAF Urbos 2. These trams were actually leased from Spain, so they were not originally made for Sydney, but for around a year's time, they were leased from Spain to be used on the L1 Dulwich Hill Line. Now, this is just a theory of mine, but I'm going to guess they were leased as the Varios were aging a whole lot, and the Obos 3s must have been delayed or something. I don't have much information on it, and I can't clarify this as being confirmed, but I'm going to guess that they were leased, part of the reason why for the Obos 3s coming only a year later. So those are the Obos 2s. The interior's just here. As you can see, the door shapes are quite weird as well. The seats were probably the most uncomfortable seats I've ever sat on, as I was able to take a ride on these a couple times when they were in service for the 1 year. But yeah, definitely my least favourite tram to operate on the L1 Dulwich Hill Line, and thank God these trams were only out in service for a year on this line.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's living me! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
The greatest of them all, my personal favourite, the Vario tram. These trams are the most original, best trams that I've ever seen in my entire life. And that woman who is flashing up on the screen, that's what made me hate you. The Varios were designed within the mid-1990s to the late 1990s, making sense for the rather sort of a bad interior, I guess you could say. I mean, back then it obviously wasn't a bad interior. When I was little, that was like a really nice interior. But obviously now it wouldn't really be that comfortable. But the Varios did not have passenger information display screens. They did have announcements though. I don't know if they came with them when the trams entered service. If you know in the comments below, let me know. But I do know that at least when they were getting retired, they did have the announcements. And when I was riding them about 10 or so years ago, they did have the announcements. But yeah, so the Varios, another difference is that the Varios actually, the door alignment is very weird. So on the end of each tram, there's only one door on each side compared to normal 2 doors on each side at the end of the tram. And the cab takes up not the full front of the tram, but only the half front of the tram, which I find a little interesting as well. But I did enjoy that, as you could just stand right at the front and you could look out the back or the front, just like a metro train pretty much. Now, the final feature, which was probably my personal favourite of the Varios, had to be how the doors were designed and just the relaxation of the sound of them. Here it is now. After nearly 20 years of the Varios, they were unfortunately retired in 2014. It's now time to take a look at the driver's view of how the tram is driven.
A light for ICC and Darling Harbour. This stop is Convention.
It's now time for what I like to call the obstacle test. This is where we go over a junction between Capital Square and Paddy's Markets, or between Chinatown and Haymarket on the L1, L2 and L3 lines, where they connect to each other as pretty much an interchange. They can switch lines if they need to. And it is known, especially on the Alstom Citadus trams, to be the literal bumpiest thing on the face of planet Earth. So let's compare how it is going over a Alstom Citadus tram to an Urbos 100.
Theatre. Change for L2 Randwick Line and L3 Kingsford Line. This stop is Capitol Square.
With the Alstom Citadus trams being a rattling machine and the Urbos 100s being a smooth machine, I must say, Urbos 100s take the win here. This is when we then got to Central Grand Concourse light rail stop and we had to change over, so this was my opportunity to take some photos and videos of the tram on the outside, so here it is now.
This stop is Central Grand Concourse. This service terminates at Central Grand Concourse.
As you can see, it is jam-packed, and you've probably noticed that I haven't really taken a proper walk down the tram yet, so that is what I'm going to do now. So as towards the end of my journey, no one really travels on the light rail beyond that point, I was lucky enough to be able to get pretty much the whole tram to myself. There's only a handful of people on board, so I was able to get some videos without getting anyone in there. So here is a walk down of the tram, then we will wrap up the video.
This stop is Lilyfield. This stop is Lilyfield. is Leichhardt North, followed by Hawthorne, Marion, then all stops to Dulwich Hill. This stop is Marion. This stop is Marion.
And with my awesome luck, the storage on my phone just stopped. It was full, it was done. So I had to film on a family member's phone of the tram departing Arlington, and then it is time to wrap up this video. So here is the tram departing Arlington, and apologies for the lower quality video as it is filmed on an older iPhone 10. It is now time to wrap up this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, becoming a member of the channel for as little as $1 a month, or liking this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys all very soon.